Hi, this is Jim Sackman, your Focal Point Business Coach. And again, this is part of our series from Creating the Future. First of all, if you're watching these in the order and time when I sent them, Happy New Year and welcome to 2016. And that's when I'm doing this, in the first Friday after the new year of 2016. So we're going to create the future for 2016 for you. Well, maybe not, but we'll help you understand a little bit more about the future creation process. And in this case, we're going to talk about the big rocks of the big future. And big rocks is a great analogy. I'm sure you've heard of it in the standard business content, where if you have everything from big rocks to sand, and you want to fill up a bowl, and you want to make sure you get the big rocks in, you got to put them in first, because if you fill a bowl with sand, you'll never have room for the big rocks. But in this case, I want to think of it as more as well as sort of what's important and what are stepping stones to that future that we created, that vision that you created that we talked about last time. And really, the big thing here is, how is this going to happen? Okay. So, for example, if you're going to double your revenue over the next 5 years, what has to happen? Are you going to be selling the same kind of things to the same kind of people? Are you going to be having lots of new customers? And if so, how is that going to work? What is the components of the business as you look at it? And when you're talking about something that's 5 years out, you're never going to be, first off, it's going to be imperfect because things will have changed between now and 5 years. But more than that, a lot of the detail will change and you'll have to adjust on the fly. But you need to be reasonably clear on what you think is going to happen at the broad brush level. So let's use some example questions. Who will my new customers be? So if you've got a target market and you're doing what you can in your target market, you have to be able to describe sort of your new ideal target, where this extra doubling of your business is going to come from. If you've got 100 customers, you need 100 new ones. Are they like the new old ones? Are they different than the old ones? If they're different, where are they? How are you going to get them? Big rocks like that. Second of all, what are they going to want? If they're exactly the same kind of customers in exactly the same kind of field, it's pretty easy, but it's unlikely, because if you were really going to do that, and this is the thing where you need to understand change and sort of the nonlinear parts of change. If all you had to do is keep grinding at what you were doing, and those were going to show up anyway, then really you're already on the right track. So realistically, you'd have to say, if my business is, in some kind of state and I need to double, then I'm going to have to do something different than I do today. But on top of that, more than that, you have to say, what can I do better with what I've got today and what I could have very shortly from today? In other words, you're going to have this large disconnected vision, this nonlinear disruptive process, but it can't happen instantaneously. So you need to start with what you can do very soon, very close, to get yourself on a trajectory. So those are sort of the balancing points. Think about the big things and think about what you have today and what you could have soon. So let me use an example again. I've been using my example from AFC and what we did in 2001. Our business was mostly POTS, which is plain old telephone service. Basic phone service was the primary thing we offered. It accounted for 80% of our business. And the problem was, there was a transition in the industry, and this is pretty obvious, to broadband. And we needed to convert our business to broadband. And more importantly, if we were going to get into major carriers, we knew we had to get ahead of the curve. And what do I mean by that? So the major carriers in 2001 were already deploying DSL. And so we knew if we showed up with DSL, which we were, we would get only a minor bump in the business. And that's what happened, because they deployed DSL out of the kinds of the products that we were already selling them. And we had some business with some major carriers, in particular with AT&T, and they bought DSL and they deployed it effectively in their small rural business, and it really didn't move the needle that much. And what did change is when we got ahead of the curve and jumped ahead of everybody else and had fiber to the home ready when the carriers were ahead of it. So that's what we did to be ready for our change and the big rocks in creating our future. So this is Jim Sackman, Focal Point. Change your business, change your life, and have a great day.